Hello YouTubers, this is Elathermania here. I just got home from the Medina gun show where there was an accident with a firearm going off, which unfortunately ricocheted off the concrete and from a man that was sitting down behind the exhibit. He was actually, I think, part of the exhibit, or good long friends. Probably working together at the booth or something, or helping or something like that. I do know that they were really good friends because as gun shows, you know, you go around and you talk to everybody. Both of them are really nice guys. The bullet, the one guy was sitting at a chair. The bullet must have ricocheted, came up. I don't know if it went through the chair. It might have, because I did not see the chair there, but it ricocheted up, hit the guy's leg, and then hit his arm. Alright, so it came up through his leg, and it came up and clipped his arm. Luckily, it didn't come up hit his face. Now, is what I want to explain about this is when, you know, I just looked at multiple internet sites. Right now I'm currently looking at News Channel 5, ABC. I looked at Fox. I looked at all of them. Nobody really knows what's going on unless you're standing right there. I don't believe the police are probably telling what happened, but it was an accident, and I'm going to tell you how big of a fluke this is. When you go into a gun show and you're carrying a firearm, before you get 10 feet, you get 2 feet in the door, you pay $6. You go a little further than that, and there's a police officer, and usually two police officers. At this particular time, there was a police officer and another guy, and they have zip ties. I don't have any zip ties here. But anyways, you take your firearm, and to us, we are all thinking that this firearm is most likely empty. But we always have our doubts. So a police officer has to check the breech of your gun, and first he will tell you to take your clip out. This is what he told me to do. So I dropped my clip, I put it down. He said chamber it, so I chambered it, pointing it down to the ground, and then he asked me to open it up like this. Oh, it's hard to do. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see through the gun, and that's what he wanted to do, to see through the gun. Now, when I usually do it, I'm not really concerned about looking through the gun. I'm usually concerned about looking in that chamber. It is sometimes hard when you're actually trying to show somebody else. It doesn't really allow you to check your own gun while you're doing it, but I did. I checked it myself first, then showed the cop, and then he puts a zip tie through your gun. Alright, and then you usually just keep the clips out, and then so it goes through a two-man check before you even walk in the building. That's like the staging area. You're not even in the building yet, and then you walk into the building. You go to a gun dealer. If I wanted to sell this gun to a gun dealer like this man was doing, because I know I was standing right there, the dealer then took the gun. I'm going to stand up, show you. He grabbed the gun, he pointed it to the ground like so, and he chambered it just like that. Well, I don't know if he accidentally pulled the trigger or there was a malfunction with the gun. Obviously there was a malfunction with the gun, because at the table he had to cycle it, and there was obviously some sort of there was a bullet lodged in there, and the little catch, which is right here, was not grabbing the lip right there of the gun, of the cartridge, and it was not ejecting the cartridge out. So there was obviously a bullet lodged in there that somehow has already two people has not seen. What I seen this dealer doing, he was doing his job. He was doing a very good job. he didn't open it up first. He pointed it down to the ground, chambered it, the gun went off. He didn't have it pointing at anybody. Then the gun went off, like I said, hit the concrete, came back up, went through the guy's leg, then his arm. He came out, and then he laid down on the ground because he knew he'd been hit. The best thing to do is lay down. There was a great deal of security there. They were there instantly. When the gunshot went off, I mean, the place had a lot of people in there. And it was so quiet. Everybody knew where the shot came from. Everybody was looking. You know, nobody, I know a lot of gun activists I've heard say in the past, oh my goodness, could you imagine if there was a gun shooting in this particular situation, in a gun show, everybody would shoot themselves. Absolutely not true. Actually, no one in the gun show has a loaded gun. Like I said, it's checked. If there was a gun show in there, I think we would all be doing the army crawl, trying to get over to the ammo table and asking if we could have some ammo. Because we all got unloaded guns, all of us. Everybody that has a firearm on them, I would say that the only people in there that do have loaded firearms are police officers. So I'm seeing in here, I'm looking at all these people, they're just jumping totally to this. You know, let's see the NRA stick handle these. I can't really even say that word. You know, this guy says, you know, problem number one, he didn't check the gun. Problem number two, he pointed the gun at somebody and shot him without checking the gun. See, these are all just people judging the situation without having any idea what's going on, because every single news report I've seen has been incorrect, as pretty much every time you'll ever read a news report. No offense, Fox News, NBC, CBN, and everybody else. I'm not responsible for anything I say. That was my little clause there. No, I'm just saying that you know, in my I've been at places and have seen ads probably about 5 different times where I've seen reports, and they just cover what they know. They don't know everything, and then people just go crazy from there. And that's what I see going on here. People are just blowing up, just saying, oh, here's one, oh, this gun dealer has a license. They need to take his license. You know, my thoughts on it is you judge the situation too fast. You really have no idea what you're talking about. You read pretty much every article I've read is 2 paragraphs, just basically saying that that there was a misfire and a man got hit. Actually, most of these people, I don't even think they really read the article, or they're just going to jump to their own conclusions and ignore what the actual ad says, actually. So that's pretty much how stupid people are. But that's the real reality of what happened, and I just wanted to hurry up and get on there. And, you know, it's only 9 p.m. The accident happened about 6 hours ago from now. It was around 3 o'clock. You know, the whole thing was just a shame that it happened. I would say that's a total fluke. I've never seen anything. I've been going to gun shows for 15 years now. I've never seen anything like that. For a loaded gun to get that far is, you know, past the cop. Most people at the gun show was blaming the police officers, saying, well, you can't blame anybody, you know. The police officers are the one that didn't trust us to go in there with our firearms. They have to check it for themselves, and they have to run the zip tie through it. So, and mark it as an unloaded firearm. So, you know, if you want to blame the dealer and you want to blame the guy that was selling the gun to the dealer, that's fine. You know, just stick your head back down underneath the ground and just think about puppy dogs and rainbows, because you're obviously ignoring the entire thing. Because if you're going to blame anybody, blame the police officer. I mean, no offense to the police officer, but the responsibility was actually on him. Also on the guy that had the firearm, and I don't know what to say about that. It had to have been a fluke for that many people to touch the gun, check the gun. Guns are heavily checked. I know I had also a firearm for sale, and anybody that, every dealer that grabbed my gun did the exact same thing. They looked at it, pointed it to the ground, went like this, usually checked, opened it up, checked it, or went like that, and then opened it and looked at it. People, you don't understand how responsible gun owners are. I don't know any looted people that are not 100% responsible with firearms. This is just an illusion that you have when you see one kook. It's been a bad year, but you know, the media kind of pushes that on crazy people and says, hey, you know, you're going to be famous if you go and shoot up a school or a theater. You gotta realize that. No laws were broken here that I seen. It was very scary for the moment that it happened, but everybody was very concerned with the person. Nobody was mad, but you know, I'm sure that it upped the safety of everybody's firearms for that night and probably years to come. All right, this is ethylomania, which in definition is a strong zeal for freedom. And let us not forget our Second Amendment and what it says about infringing, that we're not to be infringed upon our benefits, okay? And let us not forget that it has nothing to do with hunting, it has nothing to do with anything but tyranny against firearms. All right, ethylomania out.